Imagine driving a massive truck across a road made entirely of ice. One wrong move, and you're sinking into freezing waters. Today's story throws you into a high-stakes race against time, where survival isn't guaranteed, and every mile could be your last. With collapsing bridges, deadly betrayals, and a fight to save trapped miners, this action-packed thriller will keep you on edge until the very end. The movie starts in North America's freezing regions, where frozen roads have been carved into icy landscapes. These treacherous roads have ice levels that are over 30 inches thick, and driving on them is no easy task. For many, driving on these icy roads is like a suicide mission, earning them the nickname, the Ice Roads. The story shifts to Canada, where we see a diamond mine in a place called Harmony, Manitoba. Many workers are busy inside the mine. The mine supervisor gets angry at an employee because all the sensors inside the mine have stopped working. Since the sensors were off, they couldn't predict any incoming danger. The supervisor told the guy to check the issue and report back. At the same time, a truck is driving outside the mine. Suddenly, there's a massive explosion inside the mine, causing the truck to fall into a deep gorge. Panic spreads among the miners. Some manage to escape, but another blast collapses the main exit, trapping many workers inside. Meanwhile, in Mexico, we are introduced to Mike, a truck driver working for a transport company. After delivering a shipment, Mike returns to his workplace, where he hears his brother Gertie's voice. A group of truckers is bullying Gertie. Mike steps in, warning them that Gertie is sick and shouldn't be bothered. However, the bullies ignore him and continue harassing Gertie, which enrages Mike. He punches one of them so hard that the guy passes out on the spot. Because of his aggressive nature, Mike is fired from his job. Gertie, who is a skilled mechanic, decides to leave with Mike so they can work together. Before leaving, Gertie takes his pet rat with him. Back at the diamond mine, the general manager Sickle is worried about the trapped workers. He reaches out to government officials for help. The only way to rescue the miners is by using a heavy drilling machine powered by a special gas. General Manager Sickle contacts his friend, the deputy minister, and urges him to arrange transportation for the equipment. The deputy minister reaches out to the Air Force, but there's a problem. The drilling machine and the gas are too heavy to be transported by plane. This leaves only one option: trucking the equipment across the frozen roads. With time running out, Sickle sends a man to Jim, a trucking company owner. He explains the situation. After the explosion, many workers are trapped, and they have only 30 hours to deliver the machine and gas to save them. Now, Jim knew that the machine was extremely heavy, making it difficult to transport. But since he knew many of the workers at the mine, he was ready to help. The government was also willing to support Jim and his team in this mission. Meanwhile, Mike and his brother Gertie were at a gas station, filling up their car. At that moment, Gertie showed Mike a brochure featuring details of a big truck. Gertie told Mike that they needed to save up a lot of money to buy a truck like the one in the brochure. This frustrated Mike, and in anger, he crushed the brochure in his hand. Just then, Mike received a message on his phone. It stated that a driver was needed to operate a truck on the ice road. Without wasting any time, Mike and Gertie set out for the location. On the way, Gertie was busy taping together the torn pages of the truck brochure. Elsewhere, Jim met a woman named Tantu. She had been in jail, but Jim had paid her bail to get her released. Tantu was an expert truck driver and could handle any vehicle with ease. Jim then told Tantu that her brother Cody was trapped in the diamond mine along with the other workers. He explained that he was assembling a team to help rescue them. Hearing about her brother, Tantu immediately agrees to join Jim's team. At the same time, Mike and Gertie finally met Jim. Mike confidently stated that he was a truck driver and had driven on ice roads before. He then added that his brother, Gertie, was a skilled mechanic, and they always worked as a team. Jim then looked at Gertie and asked about his condition. Mike explained that Gertie had a medical issue since childhood, which made it difficult for him to communicate properly, which led to many people bothering him. That is why he often felt insecure, and now he only trusts me. Through this connection, he requested that both brothers be hired together. Jim, after hearing about their condition, accepted the request. Meanwhile, the workers trapped inside the mine were extremely worried, knowing that escaping was nearly impossible. Suddenly, they heard a faint sound coming from a pipe connected to the outside. It was Sickle, and his man, communicating with them using coded language. Inside the mine, Cody was recording their messages. When asked about their numbers, Cody responded that 26 people were trapped inside. Sickle assured them that a rescue operation was underway. Elsewhere, Jim showed his team the machine that needed to be transported from the truck to the mine. The plan involved using 3 trucks to get it there. A man named Tom, sent by the government, would accompany them to oversee the mission and ensure everything went as planned. Once everything was ready, they set off. Over the next few days, they traveled along the highway, eventually reaching the icy roads. Jim drove one truck alone, while Mike drove another with his brother, Gertie, beside him. Tantu was in the last truck, guided by a navigator through the treacherous terrain. They drove through the freezing roads all night, avoiding unnecessary stops to save time. Their main goal was to reach the mine before the 30-hour deadline. By morning, Jim noticed the temperature in his truck rising. At the same time, Tantu reminds Tom of the dangers of this route, emphasizing the importance of maintaining the right balance. A slight miscalculation could increase the risk of disaster. Suddenly, the temperature in Jim's truck spiked, and smoke started pouring out. Jim stops the truck right there. To help Jim, Mike and Tantu step in. Mike secures a strong cable to Jim's truck to pull it out, while Jim works on fixing something attached to his truck. As Mike starts pulling, the ice beneath Jim's truck begins to crack, and soon, the container attached to it starts sinking into the freezing water. In the chaos, Jim's foot gets tangled in the cable. His entire truck is slowly sinking, and since it's still attached to the other trucks, they start getting pulled in as well. Mike tries his best to pull them back, but dragging 2 trucks at once is impossible. Jim's truck completely submerges under the ice, and Tantu rushes to help him. With his foot still stuck, Jim realizes there's no way out. If the trucks remain attached, they will all sink. So, he tells Tantu to cut the cable. Reluctantly, she does. The cable snaps, and Jim vanishes beneath the icy water. His death leaves everyone devastated, but the danger isn't over yet. The ice is still melting, and they need to get out fast. Mike tells Tantu they must leave immediately. However, since his truck is still tied to Tantu's, there's no time to untangle the cables. He floors the gas, speeding off, but the tangled cable makes it hard to control the truck. As a result, both trucks lose balance and overturn. Mike, Tom, Gertie, and Tantu climb out of the wreckage. The river's current is still flowing, but as it reaches the ice, it freezes instantly, allowing them to escape near misses repeatedly. Mike checks the trucks, but Tom approaches him with shocking news. He suggests that Tantu might have tampered with Jim's truck. William tells Mike that Tantu was the last one to check Jim's truck, so maybe she sabotaged it, leading to his death. Hearing this, Mike confronts Tantu, but she doesn't say anything. Then Tom accuses her, outright. If someone died during the mission, the payout would be split among the remaining members. Did she let Jim die for money? Tantu denies it, saying she's not here for profit. Her real reason for joining the mission was to rescue her brother, who was trapped inside the mine they were heading to. But no one believes her. As tensions rise, Tantu tries to escape, but Adam ambushes her from behind and knocks her out. Later, Mike and Gertie use equipment to lift the overturned trucks. Now, they can move forward. While checking the machinery inside one of the containers, Tom suddenly locks the door from the outside, trapping Mike and Gertie inside. Then Tom steals weapons and supplies from the truck and moves into Tantu's vehicle. Realizing Tom was behind everything, Tantu struggles to break free. Tom had sabotaged Jim's truck, and now, he attacks Tantu, knocking her unconscious. Meanwhile, he plants dynamite under the container where Mike and Gertie are trapped. Mike desperately searches for a way out. Mike removed the compressor from the installed air conditioner and exited through the container. As Mike looks under the container, he notices a burning dynamite stick. He quickly moves it away from the truck, causing a massive explosion. From a distance, Tom watches everything unfold, assuming that Gertie and Mike have died in the blast. Due to the ice, Mike's truck gets stuck. To free it, they set up a large pipe and secured the truck with a cable, trying to pull it out. However, the truck doesn't budge. Mike tells his brother, Gertie, to increase the machine's pressure. Gertie warns that it's a bad idea, but Mike ignores him and cranks up the pressure. The truck finally gets unstuck, but the machine breaks due to the high pressure, causing the entire container to start sinking into the water. Mike rushes outside and looks around, but doesn't see Gertie. Instead, he spots Gertie's hat floating in the icy water. Tying a rope around himself, he dives in and, after a moment, manages to pull Gertie out. He takes him to the truck, turns on the heater, and tries to warm him up. He apologizes to Gertie and promises to listen to him from now on. Determined, Mike drives off, following Tom's truck. He realizes Tom doesn't want the machine to reach its destination. Tom, carrying the meter, arrives at a location where Sickle and his men are waiting. Tom tells Sickle that he has successfully destroyed 2 trucks and eliminated Mike, Gertie, and Jim. Sickle, pleased, orders Tom to tie Tantu inside a truck and push it off a cliff. He plans to claim that all 3 trucks were destroyed in an accident, leaving Tom as the sole survivor. In reality, Sickle was the mastermind behind everything. He was the one who disabled the sensors and caused the explosion in the mine, trapping 26 workers inside. Their deaths would bring him significant financial gains through insurance claims. Sickle knew that if even one of the 3 trucks reached its destination, the machine and gas would save the trapped miners, and he wouldn't get any money. To prevent this, he bribed Tom to get rid of the trucks. After giving orders, Sickle leaves, and Tom takes Tantu to a high point, preparing to push her truck into the abyss. As Tom places Tantu in the driver's seat, he hears a noise coming from the cargo. While checking it, Mike's pet rat suddenly bites him. Tantu seizes the opportunity and pushes Tom out of the truck. She then starts the vehicle and drives away. Meanwhile, Tom manages to grab onto the truck from below, desperately holding on. Suddenly, he notices the fuel pipe leaking. Tantu also realizes that her truck is running low on fuel, but she keeps driving, trying to push forward. However, the fuel finally runs out, and the truck comes to a halt. Tantu, exhausted, steps out. But she is alone and cannot take on Tom by herself. Tom taunts her, saying that all her team members are dead and that her fate is sealed too. Just then, the sound of an approaching truck fills the air. Tom turns and sees that it's Mike's truck. Panic sets in, and he tries to escape. But before he can, Mike slams his truck into Tom's car, sending it tumbling into the abyss. Mike then turns to Tantu and apologizes, admitting he had believed Tom's lies and wrongly doubted her. Meanwhile, Tom, though injured, survives and steals a passing snowbike to escape. Back with Mike and Gertie, they siphon fuel from a nearby car and refill their truck. The critical machine and gas are still in their vehicle, so they must keep going. Meanwhile, Tom reaches a snowy mountain peak and spots Mike, Tantu, and Gertie below. He plants dynamite on the mountain and triggers a powerful explosion, causing a massive avalanche to rush toward them. Mike and Gertie quickly jump into their truck, with Tantu following behind in another truck. The avalanche roars toward them, and suddenly, Tantu's truck gets stuck. Mike speeds ahead, narrowly avoiding the cascading snow, but seeing Tantu trapped, he and Gertie rush back to help. Tantu is badly injured, but Gertie reassures her, saying they're close to their destination. They lift her into the truck and continue their journey. A while later, Tom arrives again, now driving another truck, and resumes his pursuit. Meanwhile, in the collapsed mine, the workers are barely hanging on, their oxygen running out. Time is running out. Mike notices Tom's truck gaining on them and tells Gertie to take over driving. He climbs out of his truck and makes his way to Tom's, leading to a brutal fight between them. Both men end up falling off the truck and rolling onto the icy road. Gertie, now behind the wheel, keeps driving. Up ahead, he sees a bridge. Tantu, still weak, insists that she should drive across it. However, due to the ice on the bridge, their truck gets stuck in one place. They step out of the truck and install traction panels on the tires, allowing them to cross the bridge. Eventually, the bridge collapses and is destroyed. On the other side, Mike returns to the same truck. He wants to leave, but Tom also gets into the truck, leading to a fight between the two. Tom lifts Mike and throws him toward the truck's side. The truck speeds up on the icy road, reaching a thin layer of ice. Mike jumps out of the truck while Tom remains trapped inside. The truck reaches a fragile section of ice, and as it moves forward, it breaks through, sinking into the freezing water. Tom drowns along with it. Meanwhile, Mike and the others continue their journey. On the other side, after crossing the bridge, the truck starts slipping again due to the icy surface. Tantu tries to stop it using the handbrake, but the truck keeps sliding backward. If nothing is done, the truck will fall off the broken bridge into the valley. Gertie stands behind the truck, trying to close the bridge's gate. He successfully locks it, but gets trapped between the truck and the gate. The truck begins crushing him. Tantu quickly places a wooden block under the truck's tires to stop it from moving backward. However, Gertie, severely injured, falls to the ground. Mike rushes to his brother Gertie, who, in his final moments, tells Mike to reach the mine as soon as possible and save everyone. Mike apologizes to his brother, and Gertie passes away. Heartbroken, Mike mourns his brother's death. Meanwhile, in the government office, officials arrive to inquire about the miners. More than 30 hours have passed, and Sickle tells them that, unfortunately, all the miners must have died inside. At that moment, a truck appears in the distance, heading toward them. Mike arrives with the truck, asking the workers to use extraction machines and gas to rescue the miners. He also tells the medical team to begin treating the survivors. The rescue operation begins. After some time, the trapped miners are brought out. Some are unconscious, but they are all alive. Seeing this, everyone is overjoyed. Tantu reunites with her brother, and she also meets with the government officers, revealing the truth about Sickle. It is exposed that Sickle deliberately caused the explosion in the mine and used Tom to sabotage the rescue mission. Angered by the revelation, the officers arrest Sickle. Meanwhile, Mike stands alone, grieving for his brother Gertie. Just then, the deputy minister arrives and thanks Mike for his bravery, assuring him that he will be rewarded handsomely for his efforts. Mike notices a pay stub in his pocket, which he had previously torn apart. A few days later, Tantu is seen working at a new place when Mike arrives with a truck. It's the same model of truck that Gertie had always wanted. Mike has finally bought a new truck. He meets Tantu, and she thanks him. Mike then drives off with his pet rat sitting beside him. And with that, the movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Once upon a rewind. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our next video. Got a special recap request? Drop it in the comments.